What's going on, everybody? It's the Indoor Hunter, and we're going to be doing something a little bit differently today. This one's going to be kind of a mixture of a challenge video and kind of a helpful guide to those that may have just started their journey in the hunter called the wild. So the game plan for today is we can see our perks and our skills here. I am actually going to completely reset them and play as if I've just started playing the game. Now, for those of you that don't know this, you cannot earn all of the skills and perks in the game. You can only have a select few, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this, because there's a couple that I want to play with and try out. And, well, the other one is because I do want to challenge myself, but I just wanted to make that clear for everybody else that may be new to the game. Again, you cannot earn all of the skills and perks, so you really want to focus on the ones that seem good to you. There are a few of these, and we'll discuss them as it comes up, that I feel like are absolutely essential to the game. Others are a little more subjective and a little more however you want to play the game, so let's get started. And as you can see here, we have reset everything. I've got no perks into anything, and so it's going to be pretty difficult. Everybody knows when you start playing this game, it's actually pretty hard and gets a lot easier as you level up, unlocking those skills and perks. But we're out here at Layton Lakes because, well, it's one of my favorite maps. Two, if you are new to the game, this is likely the map you're going to be starting on. So let's get out here, try to find something. The current loadout is a little more advanced. It's not completely beginner. We do have the 270 Stradivarius equipped with the Hyperion scope. We've got the 243 and the over-under Cavan, I don't know how to pronounce it, the Caversham 12 gauge shotgun for those either ducks or rabbits, what have you. Side note though, if you've got slugs unlocked, you can use these against moose, but I personally wouldn't recommend it. I'd stick to that 270. And again, I just want to be clear that this is not technically a beginner's guide video. If you guys are interested in that, I do kind of sort of have a couple of those out there. However, they are outdated at this point. At some point in the future, I'm going to have to make a new and updated beginner's guide video. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below. But I digress. Like I said, this is definitely more of a challenge video, but I'm going to be talking about what we're doing and why along with it. So it might help you guys out, those of you that are still kind of getting or learning the ropes of the game. And because we just spent an absolute ton of money, and well, I guess I am using the more advanced binoculars, but I don't want to handicap myself too much. That wouldn't be that much fun, right? That was actually a simple mistake. I actually completely intended on using the starter binos, but whatever. As I was saying though, I'm not targeting anything super specific. It's early in the morning. We're just going to keep hitting waterways, which is what I would recommend anyone doing. Now, once you learn those time zones, obviously, then that's when you can start honing which species you hunt. But for now, we're just going to see what we can find, try to earn some money, and see just how difficult it is with no perks, no skills to harvest game. And of course, the first big difference that I'm noticing here is it shows white-tailed deer tracks, but I have no idea if it's a male, if it's a female, what size it is, how long ago it was, if it was running, if it was walking. That in itself is pretty challenging. Now, something that is new to the game is the flee indicator that shows when animals are fleeing, which is actually a huge help because it can help kind of pinpoint where those animals are so you can track them down just a little bit easier. And again, there are perks that's going to actually further increase the viability of that mechanic. Actually, I just not even realizing it. Let's go ahead. We've got the 270 out. Now, this is not the most ideal weapon for this. That should have been a vital organ hit. The problem here is I can't spot it, have no outlines. I have no idea if it was a good shot. The only way to know, obviously, is going to be checking out to see if we got a vital organ hit. And it does appear that we got the vital organ hit. And of course, we look at our hunter mate. It's not going to be very useful to us at this point because, well, we've got no perks or anything to go into that. But let's go check out. Something else that I noticed is just how sluggish it is to aim down sights with no perks, man. That is kind of gross. Again, the 270, not the best. Moose gun, it's pretty weak, but when you're just starting out in the game, it is the only gun you can use ethically. against moose outside of the 7mm, but I expect if you're not quite there yet, you're probably using the 270. It's accurate. It's got good follow-ups. All right, here's our moose here. As you can see, we got a single long shot with the 270. However, she did run 553 meters following that shot, so she went pretty far. Then again, we got her in the bag. She's down. And that being said, I think the way I'm going to structure this, because I'm already level 60 and I don't want to mess with making a new character or any of that kind of stuff, we're going to pretend like shooting an animal is the same as leveling up. So let's go ahead and we're going to start with a skill. Obviously, you can only pick these from the get-go, but let's go through and read what this says. Level 1 increases the number of uses per canister for all scent lures purchased. This is, one of those middle worlds, not super important. The importance of it is you're unlocking tier 1. You're able to get in there. Really, I myself personally never purchase any more than this first one. I don't mess around with scents too often. I don't see the need for them. We've got collars that are much more effective than using the scents, so I personally wouldn't waste your skill points on this perk or this skill just simply because you're going to have better equipment for it anyway, and again, you cannot purchase all of the skill or perks. Let's go ahead and pick our next perks. Let's go to our actual perk. Now, as you can see here, all these rifles and handguns and shotguns, some of these user preference, some of them I definitely highly recommend. If you're looking at the rifle perks here, the one that I would almost always recommend is the zeroing perk. We currently don't have it. However, I'm kind of curious though to see just how important this really is. I know I rely on it quite a bit. It can be a hindrance though if you're zeroed in correctly and you end up missing an animal, but I digress. We are going to go ahead and probably purchase just so we can start our way unlocking that. We're going to go ahead and get the muscle memory perk just to help us unlock the next tier here. That being said though, level 2 increases ready speed after firing for all weapons. This means you actually get a faster trigger time. I personally like to use this perk, but again, user preference. Now, something that I've realized after doing some quick redneck math, I'm going to have to shoot an insane amount of animals in order to unlock a perk every time we shoot one. So what I think we'll actually do is go round and round, do some basic hunting, shoot what we can find, and then at the end of the video, that's when we'll probably pick all of our perks, and I'll go through and explain each one and why. We've got our... Oh, I saw another one. We've got a whitetail here. Doe. The new range estimator says she's between 159 meters and 212 meters, but as you can see here, we've got her spotted on the map. We can look at it. She's at 194 meters. This is something that I do even with all the skills and perks unlocked, especially on diamond potential animals, just so I can 100% confirm the actual range, because, well, the rangefinder binoculars, they may not be the most accurate. That range estimator, obviously not the most accurate. This is 100% accurate. So she's right at 200 meters, give or take. Now, we don't have the zeroing perk unlocked, so we're just going to aim where I normally would. That is a hit. Now, granted, we cannot spot her with the scope. So what I may do, now that we can place waypoints with binoculars, we're going to go ahead and place one roughly where she was standing, just so we can hopefully find a blood trail a little bit easier. And she must have been a little bit further back, and she actually went pretty much nowhere. Here's where we shot her at, and she went just a few feet and crumpled up right here. As you can see, we actually hit exactly where we were aiming at, and this is partly what I want to test, just how useful is that zeroing perk. We may do this at the end of the video just to test once we do have it unlocked to see, if it's even worth it at all. I would like to try and find an animal that's much further out to see what the bullet drop does without any zeroing. But that hit exactly where I was aiming at. Granted, I was using the 270. It's a very accurate flat shooting gun, but yeah, that wasn't too bad. I did notice that the scope sway and breath holding was absolutely terrible with no perks. So you beginners out there, I feel for you guys. It's been so... We got a rabbit. It's just a female. We're probably just gonna let her go. But as I was saying, I feel for you guys. You know, it's been a while since I've started out, obviously, and this game can be hard when you have nothing unlocked. All right, so I found some whitetail at a range that I've been wanting to test out here. We've got a pretty decent level 2 out there as well, it looks like. 232 to 299. Let's check the map here just to see. It's at 277. I want to find one. We may back up here just a little bit more to ensure a 300-meter shot, because that's what I'm really wanting to test here without the zeroing perk. 299. That should be 300. There it is, 302. Let's see what we can make happen. Again, no zeroing, can't spot, which is kind of weird. And the ability to hold your breath longer is super important, and the scope shake is pretty terrible. Oh man, that was actually a miss. That was a hit on her. We've got these guys. Oh, man, I can't hold my breath that long. Again, not being able to reload on the move, definitely a hindrance here. If we wanted that secondary follow-up, which I was trying to get, I can kind of sort of see him. If we can get eyes on him, I'm definitely going to put in a round just to see if we can hit him. That first time, or that first shot, that was just a clean miss. The scope wobble, I'm blaming on that one. I don't see them in the open. We did get a hit. We've got some more coming in here. Let's just take a knee. Get calm here. There's a hit. And again, if I wasn't using the 270, if I was using a bigger gun like the 7mm, that would have been a really difficult shot to pull off. But let's go over here and see what exactly happened. Now, something you'll notice checking the map here, there's still no hunting pressure, which tells me these animals aren't dead yet. They're going to eventually die because I did shoot them with the 270. Problem is, none of these appear to be vital organ hits, which, for all intents and purposes, I personally am probably not going to go try and find them, but if you're just starting out and need money, I would definitely recommend taking the time to track them down. After all that, I do think it's time to finally go ahead and set up our perks and skill points, and I'm going to kind of talk about what my process here of doing them is, and I'm going to kind of bounce between the two here. The ambusher, in my opinion, are pretty important, but the stalker skills are a little bit more important. So as we can see here, first one, locate tracks, directional tracking cones becomes more accurate. Level 2 is increases distance at which tracks are visible. Level 3, the directional tracking cone is now even narrower. I feel like these are all very important. We're going to go ahead and purchase all of them. Again, if you're just starting out, you're not going to be able to do this until you've got them all accrued. And just a reminder, as you're leveling up, as you get higher and higher up in the levels, they're not going to come every single level. You're only going to get one of these every other level. So towards the end, it can actually be kind of a grind to get these things unlocked. But let's continue here. As I said, we're going to buy all 3 of these. Only happy when it rains, decreases visibility in foggy weather. This one, not important. I'm not going to purchase this at all. If we go down here to health, this is one of those, if you want it, get it. If you don't, it's not that big of a deal. You can carry med kits with you. I'm probably not going to waste points on it unless, of course, we have to spend a certain amount in order to unlock these further. But track knowledge reveals information about animals' gender when investigating footprints. Vocalizations reveals information about approximate animal group size. This is one of the most important skills you can have in the game because it's going to allow you to find those diamonds. So let's go ahead and buy all 3 tiers, and as you can see, we just unlocked tier 2. Connect the dots. This is one of those that I personally like. So on your hunter mate, whenever you're tracking animals, it'll actually connect the line of each tracks, kind of showing a direction of travel. Makes finding things a lot easier. I personally like this skill. This one down here, weather prediction, this is probably the most pointless. This one's useless. Don't buy it. There's absolutely no reason to have this one. But soft peat, this is very, very important. It reduces noise generated when moving through foliage. And then level 2 reduces our noise generated when moving through larger vegetation, such as bushes and shrubs. Again, super important. We're going to buy both tiers of that. But as you can see here, we can't unlock these tiers any further without purchasing something. So we are going to go ahead and purchase the connect the dots here. Now, the actual reason I wanted to do this was for this skill here. I'd never purchased this before. Each level decreases the size of animal vocalization indicator in the world, making it easier to pinpoint the position. Well, with all the new tracking cones, I feel like this is going to be a pretty important perk to have, so you can actually see stuff way better. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase both tiers of these. Improvised blind further decreases your visibility when inside large bushes. This is an important skill to have, and I also think endurance is a very good one to have, especially when you're like me. When you run and gun and shoot stuff, it's way better to have that increase or decrease in heart rate much faster. So I'm gonna go ahead and purchase that as well. As you can see, we still have 8 points available, so let's go ahead and head on over to Ambusher. Spotting knowledge, this one is very important, so I'm going to go ahead and purchase all 3 of these. And I guess in order to unlock further here, I'm going to go ahead and purchase this. Sight spotting, another very essential one in my opinion. This one allows you to spot animals with your rifle scope. Pretty huge in my opinion. The rest of these, I do like Pack Mule. We're not going to be able to actually purchase this though, however, with the amount of points that we have available to us, but I do really like this perk. I also like this perk, the Haggle. It doesn't seem that important, but when you're starting out, it can be. This one is actually an interesting perk. This is something that I've personally never tried, but it allows you, whenever you're in an outlook to actually view different need zones and stuff like that, and you actually have a chance of spotting animals that are around the area. So that one may be something to look at. That's something we might look at in the future. Now, I am going to go ahead and purchase Disturb Vegetation. It's not the most useful skill, but when you're trophy hunting, especially in-game trophy hunting, this is very nice because you're able to dictate or figure out if an animal is an albino or some sort of rare fur type. This is really useful if you happen to see an animal and lose sight of it, and it makes it a lot easier to find their need zones and stuff. So I like it. That one you can do with or without. You can see here we still have 2 skill points. I'm not sure which one we're going to pick here. I'm probably going to go with impact resistant just because I do fall a lot, and you know, it's a point, so might as well throw it in there. And we'll go ahead and grab Fatal Attraction as well, because last but not least, let's talk about weapons perks. Now, something to keep in mind is just because it says handgun, shotgun, archery, or rifle doesn't necessarily mean it only pertains to that weapon. Some of these, like the zeroing perk, is unlocked via the rifles, yet it works for every single weapon. And well, after our testing here, we're going to go ahead and get both perks for this. The zeroing I feel like is absolutely essential. Decrease scope wobble, absolutely. Holding breath, absolutely doing all 3 of these. Focus shot, holding, this one not that important. We don't usually use iron sights or red dots a whole lot, so we're gonna go ahead and skip that one. Let's go down here to handguns. Unlocks the ability to reload all weapons while running. Absolutely, that's hugely convenient. This one, I do use handguns a lot, so I am going to go ahead and pick this one. Not the most important. Now this one, Ranger, I'm not sure if that affects our new range estimator or not, but we do need to get it in order to unlock lightning hands, which I'm going to go ahead and buy all 3 of these. This allows you to reload weapons way faster. This one increases accuracy of hip draw. I don't see that as being very important. Let's see here. I do like this here because, like I said, I do run a gun, and that's going to allow us to aim down sights much faster. We'll go ahead and get body control as well. And then when it comes to archery, if you use bows a lot, I do like to use bows. So I'm going to put our last remaining points into it. And there we have it. We've gone ahead and reset ourselves, which should make the game much easier. As you can see now, look at the scope wobble. It has all but been eliminated. And something kind of strange here that I've noticed. I don't know why. There we go. We activated it, so that's new. You actually have to activate that. So now you can see on the right-hand side there, we can actually zero between 75, 150, and 300. That's just going to make shot placement that much easier. If you guys have questions about the perks that I like to use, let me know in the comments below. I know I kind of went through that kind of fast, but this video is already a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. But yeah, just kind of make sure, go through, read these perks, make sure you actually want them. At the end of the day, you can reset them. It costs a ton of money, but it can be done. If you don't like it, you know, always play around. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.